Hi, so in this video we are going to learn what is programming. So as we know, computers by itself cannot do anything. We have to provide it instructions as inputs to get desired results as outputs. Now writing a set of instructions to get desired output from the computer is known as programming. Now this set of instruction that we write is known as a program. In order to convey our instruction to human, we use natural language, which are not very well defined. So we have to give very well defined instructions to the computer, and hence we use machine understandable language for the computers. Machine understandable language is ones and zeros, but of course we are not going to write our code in ones and zeros. We are going to use human readable code. And a compiler will convert this human readable code to machine understandable language code. We will see what are compilers and what are its functionality. Before going further, let me put a little more emphasis on why we cannot use natural language. For example, let's see the use of the phrase cup of tea in these two sentences. Dancing is not my cup of tea, and please pass me the cup of tea. In these two sentences, the meaning of cup of tea is changing based on the context it is used in. Therefore, the meaning of cup of tea is not very well defined. It is changing based on the context. This is not the case with the machine understandable code. It is very well defined. The meaning of each and every ones and zeros is very well defined. Now let us see a few classifications of programming languages. One classification is low-level programming languages versus high-level programming languages. Low-level programming languages like ones and zero machine languages are low-level programming languages. Then assembly language, these are low-level languages. High-level languages are C that we are going to study, then C++, Python. These are high-level languages. What are the basic difference between low-level and high-level is that high-level are more human readable form. These are in more human readable form. Whereas it is very difficult to understand meaning of each ones and zeros in low-level languages. The next classification or the next type of language is object-oriented programming languages. For example, Java is object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented programming languages gives you certain abilities for reuse of code. Python also has object-oriented facilities. The next classification is compiled versus interpreted language. A compiled language, for example C, will have a compiler. A compiler will convert the written code in C to a machine executable, and once converted, this can be executed every time we want to run the code. In case of interpreted language, for example Python, which is an interpreted language, we use something known as interpreter. Interpreter takes the Python code, and every time we want to execute this code, we will use this interpreter and run or execute. So that's the fundamental difference between compiled and interpreted language. Now let's understand the basic function or the basic procedure how a program, or which is a set of instruction, is converted to a machine understandable code which can be executed directly by the machine. We take the program and pass it through a compiler and produce assembly language code. Then the assembly language code is passed through an assembler and we produce object code. Let's say we produced object code 1, object code 2 and object code 3. Then there is something known as linker, which will link all these object codes which are necessary to run the code together and produce one final object code, and this is machine executable. Now what happens is that when you want to execute this code, the loader is invoked. Loader will take this object code and load this into the memory, and finally it will be executed by CPU from memory. So this is the basic procedure how a program is converted to machine executable, which can be directly executed by the CPU. Now if you are in Windows machine, before ending this video let me tell you, if you are in Windows machine and if you want to compile C program, then you will need something known as C compiler. To get C compiler you have to use this GCC compiler. GCC compiler is nothing but collection of compilers. It's a collection of compilers which also contains C compiler. You can optionally also download C++ and other compilers along with C compiler in using GCC compiler. So to download GCC compiler you have to use this MingW software. How to download and install it, let me show you. Go to your web browser and in Google type MingW compiler. Go to the first, this minimalist GNU for Windows, this first link. Then inside this link go to the upper right corner in the download section. There if you come down here you can see the MingW get setup.exe. If you hit this button it will download the compiler. Once downloaded you can run and install it. I have already installed it. Let me show you where I have installed. The default directory is the directory where operating system is installed. So in that directory go to MingW folder and go to bin folder. There copy this path to the bin folder, this bin folder, because you need to add this path to the environment variables. How to access the environment variables? Go to the properties of my computer, then go to advanced system settings. Here in the bottom you will find environment variables. In the lower section system variables, go to the path variable, double click the path variable, and at the bottom you can paste your bin folder path, then hit OK. Now your path is saved. With that you are ready for using C compiler or this GCC compiler. Thank you for watching this video. From next video onwards we will see how to compile and write and compile C code. Thank you.